Station Sisters Counterattack. Chapter 1, A New Dawn for Fandom. Since the end of the last century, the battle in the fandom has been like an endless storm, and the quarrels in each fandom are always like a silent flame burning more and more fiercely, and no one can extinguish it. And it seems that all this will never end. Every fan station, every idol, seems destined to be trapped in such a battle. And the station sister, the behind-the-scenes commander of this fan circle, often plays an indispensable role in these seemingly endless quarrels. However, in the midst of this chaos, a girl named Tantai Yanran quietly appeared. In her name, there are two inscrutable words, which means calm and secretive, and Yanran, which symbolizes her inadvertent tenderness and smile. She is not a star in the fan circle, nor is she a professional agent, she is just a station sister. On the social platforms of the fan circle, her name appears extremely low-key, but it is extremely powerful. She has created one station after another, each of which has quickly attracted a large number of fans in a short period of time, and has turned the idols she supports from unknown to hot stars. She is efficient and low-key, but her influence is unquestionable. Every station she opened can make the idols she supports quickly rise to the top of the list, and the quarrel in the fan circle seems to have become less intense because of her appearance, but there are some subtle changes. On this day, Tantai Yanran sat at her desk full of various materials and documents, and gently flipped through the latest idol materials. Her phone vibrated suddenly, and the message came from Fandom A. Fan Circle A, sister. I'm going to open the station. Cubs come out for business. Yute Yanran smiled slightly, and replied with a light click of her fingers, it's your time, work hard. Then, another message came from Fandom B. Fandom B, sister, let's take a look at my child. My children are all good-looking and well-behaved. Ask my sister to me. She glanced at her coldly and replied, well, I'll arrange it for you. In this way, although the world of Tantai Yanran is full of busyness and countless fan requests, there is also a delicate balance because of her arrangement. Chapter 2, The Daily Life of the Station Sister. The work of Yanran is not as simple as it seems. Every choice she makes can cause a storm in the fan circle, and can even change the fate of an idol. She is often asked for help by the owners of various fan stations, whether it is to increase her popularity or adjust the image of her idol, she can always be impeccable. One day, an idol's agent suddenly approached her and asked her to help deal with the negative public opinion of certain fan stations. This idol is named Emolig, a newcomer in the circle, who has just debuted, but has repeatedly fallen into controversy for some reasons. The agent eagerly asked for help from Yanran, hoping that she could help sort out her public image. Yute Yanran took the phone, and after listening, she smiled faintly, it's not difficult, see you tomorrow. The next day, she began to plan a new promotional campaign for Emolig, and reshaped some of her past controversies into growth stories, which quickly attracted public attention and sympathy. Emolig's image has been completely changed, the number of fans has soared, and the popularity has continued to rise. And all of this seems to be a handiwork of Tantai Yanran inadvertently. However, such success does not make Yanran proud, she knows that these so-called successes are only momentary flashes of light, and the real challenge is always ahead. Chapter 3, The Confusion of Adu. With the stability of the fan circle and the increasing influence of Tantai Yanran, the former idols began to realize that they were not the only ones, and even began to have doubts about this mysterious station sister. At first, they thought that the station sister would die because of her idol, but soon, they found that Tantai Yanran's calmness and sanity made these fantasies come to naught. One day, Emolig met Yanran by chance. At that time, she was walking out of the venue of an event, and when Emolig saw this, she immediately stepped forward to say hello. Hey, what a coincidence! Emolig said with a smile. Yute Yanran smiled indifferently, yes, yes. Emolig couldn't help but wonder in his heart, isn't she my station sister? Why is she so calm? Tantai Yanran glanced at him and whispered, it's not my working time. Emolig was a little confused, so, who is the idol you really support? Tantai Yanran smiled helplessly, there are many idols, and the ones I support are those who can grow. Chapter 4, The Shadow of the Pink Circle. As she gradually builds up her unique style, each station she opens becomes the key to the success of an idol. However, such success is not acceptable to everyone, especially those idol fans who have never been chosen by Tantai Yanran. In a fierce fandom controversy, a fan of Fandom D suddenly launched an attack on Tantai Yanran, foolish words, foolish deeds, loss of money and responsibility, shame of praise. Tantai Yanran didn't refute, she just said softly, if you don't like my way, you can choose to leave. The fans of Fan Circle D were unwilling and continued to accuse Tantai Yanran of unfairly favoring certain idols, and even pointed all the fingers at the station she opened. But Tantai Yanran is still calm, she knows that no matter what the outside world says, what she does is the most important thing. Chapter 5, The Tired Smile of the Station Sister. As time passed, the work became busier and busier. Almost all the stations she once opened have become the most popular existences, and these idols have gradually become traffic stars because of her careful planning. However, Tantai Yanran also understands that none of this can last long. The situation of the fandom is changing, and the popularity of idols is changing rapidly. She is no longer proud of every success, and there are even times when she just wants to have a quiet time and let it all go for a while. When she received a message asking for help from the fandom again one day, she only responded softly, "Can I get off work?" And with this tired smile, it disappeared into the noise of the fandom. Chapter 6, The Station Sister's Secret. Yanran's life gradually fell into a delicate balance. Although the quarrels in the fan circle have decreased, her workload has not lessened. The private lives of idols, the needs of fans, and all kinds of sudden turmoil, all of which make her every day extremely busy. She once thought that she would be able to have a little time for herself, but she soon realized that the world never seemed to allow the station sister to have her own resting space. One day, she is approached by the manager of an emerging idol and asks her to help create the image of a new character. The idol's name is Lu Xinyun, and he is a newcomer with great potential, and although he is handsome on the outside, he lacks strong personal characteristics and public impressions, which makes it difficult for him to stand out. The agent hopes that Yanran can help Lu Xinyun create a special image and attract more attention. After receiving this request, Tantai Yanran began to carefully study Lu Xinyun's information. She found that Lu Xinyun's charm did not lie in his appearance, but in a special emotion hidden in him. Tantai Yanran decided to portray him as a character full of stories, and let fans see the undiscovered affection and softness in him. She designed a series of public relations activities for Lu Xinyun, cleverly linking him to some public welfare undertakings, so that the public could feel his sincerity. Gradually, Lu Xinyun's popularity began to rise, and fans' enthusiasm for him also increased. However, the driving force behind this is still the unknown station sister Yanran. But she knows that such success does not mean eternal stability. The rules of fandom are always changing, and when an idol is pushed to the top, there are always new challenges and risks waiting for them. Chapter 7, Behind the Guard. As Tantai Yanran's influence grew, some senior figures in the fan circle began to have doubts about her existence. These senior station sisters and agents have long been accustomed to their power and status, and they feel that the rapid rise of Tantai Yanran poses a threat to them. At a gathering in the circle, several senior station sisters had a face-to-face conversation with Yanran. The names of these station sisters have their own characteristics, such as Sumencia, Li Ruheo, and Tian Yuni. They used to be pivotal existences, but now, they seem a little lonely in front of Yanran. Sumencia looked at Tantai Yanran coldly, and asked, "Do you think that your Loki can last long? The competition in the fan circle will never leave you a respite, and if you want to gain a foothold for a long time, you will be defeated one day." Tantai Yan smiled indifferently and did not respond directly. She knew that what these senior station sisters said was right, the rules of the fan circle could indeed change at any time. And she herself does not intend to blindly rely on such a power game. Li Ruheo added, "Your approach of helping newcomers all the time may allow you to gain some attention in the short term, but in the long run, others will think that you are not dedicated enough, and even have a sense of distrust of you." After listening to this, Yute Yanran bowed her head slightly, was silent for a moment, and then said calmly, "This is the value of my existence. I won't focus on a particular idol, because idols' careers are their own after all. I'm just helping them find their place, and it's their responsibility to go further or not." Tian Yuni sneered, "How can you last long with such an attitude? Fandom is about loyalty." Tantai Yanran was still unmoved, and replied with a smile, "Loyalty? Loyalty to fans, loyalty to idols, loyalty to work, this is what I pursue, not the so-called loyalty." Her answer left those present speechless for a moment. Although they still doubted in their hearts whether Yanran's approach would last, her calmness and persistence made it impossible for them to easily refute it. Chapter 8, The Awakening of Idols. A few months later, one of the idols supported by Yanran, Mo-like, gradually came out of the shadow of the past controversy. He began to become more confident and showed his unique charm in various public appearances. And all of this is inseparable from the planning and help of Tantai Yanran. One day, Mo-like interacted with fans in a live broadcast, and he confessed, "Actually, at first, I didn't know how important the work of the station sister was. When I first met Sister Tantai, I thought she was just an ordinary fan, but I didn't expect her to do so much for me." He looked at the camera and smiled slightly. "Sister Tantai has always told me that idols' careers will not always be smooth sailing, what really matters is how to face challenges and how to become a responsible person. And she will never give up her support for her because of the popularity of idols, she will always believe that everyone can go further." These words moved countless fans, and also made more people begin to understand that Tantai Yanran is not just a station sister, she is more like a mentor, a driving force behind her, helping idols find their direction. Chapter 9, The ultimate choice. However, as time passed, she gradually felt tired. She began to reflect on her choices and began to think about why she worked so hard for these idols and fans. She knew that this kind of dedication might make her life more fulfilling, but it would also make her miss out on something important. One day, she was standing in front of the window of her studio, looking out at the busy city. She said to herself, "Isn't it time for me to take a break? Perhaps, this is what I have always wanted, to be able to have a moment of peace for myself." She took a deep breath and whispered, "Perhaps, I should stop and listen to my own heart." Chapter 10, The Future of Station Sisters. At the moment when Yan Ran was silent, she knew that she couldn't really let go of everything in her hands. Every idol and fan in the fan circle, every quarrel, every fight, is her battlefield. There's no way she's going to walk away alone, because that's her calling. But she also understands that she can't live forever in a world created by others. One day, she will stand up and choose her own life. No matter how the fandom changes, she will take herself as the center and move towards a more exciting future. Tantai Yan Ran smiled slightly, got up silently, and continued her work, and her story was still unfinished.